So as Richard said, I do want to share some thoughts with you about mystery, about big questions that we might never, ever be able to get an answer to. And what I feel is the most helpful, healthiest attitude to have when we encounter these big questions and big mysteries. So I like to joke that I have achieved the coveted NCW degree. NCW, no credentials whatsoever. Anybody else got that one? Some of you. The truth is, I did actually escape from college with a real degree, a BS. A BS in geology. That's true. I was kind of stoned a lot of the time. Really, what I was interested in were these big questions that geology deals with. We've got this planet and the solar system that came together 4.5 billion years ago, and it's still not clear how all that happened, but that's how we got started. And then 4.5 billion years of planetary evolution. We've had many different kinds of planets here on this same planet. And we're still finding out about that, how that worked. And then, 3.5 billion years ago, somehow, out of inorganic material, life arose, organic material. That's a huge mystery. We don't know how that happened. And then you have all these trillions of evolutionary possibilities after all these billions of years, and somehow, right now, at this little micro moment in geologic time, we get to be the dominant species. That's an amazing thing. Well, I'm fascinated by all of this stuff, and I still read about it all the time. But it wasn't long after college that I realized I was even more interested in what I think of as bigger mysteries. Like, why is there something instead of nothing? If God can get a universe, something from nothing, well, can we get something from nothing? And God, by the way, what is God like? If God is real, the next question is, what is God like? That's a big mystery. What is consciousness? This amazing ability we have to self-reflect and plan and evaluate. What is death? What happens to consciousness after death? What is love? What are women really thinking? Big mysteries. So I thought we could have some fun with a couple of these this morning and then continue later in the concert. So I think if we're going to do this, we should start with God. God's kind of the big mystery. And as I said before, if we accept the idea that there is a God, the next question really is, well, what is God like? Now, you've noticed that down through the ages, I'm sure you've read this, many accounts of what God is like, differing accounts. A lot of people have thought they knew. Whether they knew or not, they thought they knew. They were trying to tell us what God is like, different mystics and sages and so forth. But what I find fascinating is that being a unity person, my concept of God has changed a lot from 40 years ago. Anybody else relate to that? Whatever you think about God now, it's different. Yeah. And I thought that was funny because I don't think God's changed much in 40 years. So that felt like a song idea. So we wrote this song called A Brief History of God. Now, I always like to try to get some science into the songs when I can. And so in this song, we added some physics. I confess I had trouble with physics in college because when I signed up, I thought it said psychics. Obviously, I'm not one. There's a new concept in physics called string theory. I'm sure you've heard that term. So when we get to the part of the song about strings, you'll know that it's physics. So this song is called A Brief History of God, or G-string theory. In the beginning, there was lots of competition. goddesses and gods of every disposition, from merciful to mean, from laid back to hyper, and little baby gods that flew around in diapers. Animals, pranksters, destroyers, creators, flute players, lute players, nymphs and satyrs. So many gods it was hard to keep them sorted. God had multiple personality disorder. Well, keeping track of all these gods was no fun, so finally some people said, let's cut it down to one. But the one god was angry, always finding fault. There was banishment and floods and pillars of salt. Well, why was God traumatized at an early age by standing too close to the Big Bang? Was it nature or nurture or Satan's little goblins? God had anger, management problem. God had other issues that mess with serenity, like this long-term question of sexual identity. The feminine divine or the male autonomous. God was so confused. Am I androgynous? And then on top of that, what was challenging the most was trying to figure out what the heck's the Holy Ghost. God needed time off and checked into a clinic. And poor old God was becoming schizophrenic. While in for treatment, God sent some folks to teach us, like Krishna and Buddha, Mohammed and Jesus. On some things they agree, on other things they don't. And if you choose the wrong one, some say your soul is toast. Now everybody's praying by all these different rules. Muslims 5 times a day, Buddhists quite a few, Hindus, Jews, and Christians whenever there's a need, and Unitarians would rather plant a tree. Well, God's come a long way from that early dysfunction, and now science has brought us to this beautiful junction. The key to the theory is that every single thing is made up entirely of vibrating strings. Well, this is what musicians have known all along. The universe is really one big song. And there you have it, friends. That's the story so far. We're all just musical strings in God's big guitar. All right. Thank you very much. It's a happy thought, isn't it? That we're always vibrating, constantly in vibration. We never stop. So the trick is to stay in tune. Relationships are a lot about staying in tune. Come back to that. A lot of people have told us that God is love, and we love that answer. What feels better than love? What's more comforting than love? As an observer, I'm fascinated with the fact that we only have one word, love, for this gigantic range of emotional experiences. You know, they say the Eskimos have 40 or 50 different words for different kinds of snow, just snow. And we have one word, love, for, you know, divine love, earthly love, motherly love, brotherly love, fated love, jaded love, unconditional love, unrequited love, physical, devotional love, puppy love, love of chocolate chip cookies. You know, there's so many different, love of Thanksgiving dinner, there's a big one. There's so many different kinds of love, and then the big mystery is for me still is romantic love. I find it fascinating, the source of so many of my songs, because, you know, just for example, here's one example. How is it that we can have so much chemistry and connection with one person? So much magnetism, connection, chemistry, one person, and another person equally desirable, nothing. There's just nothing there. We don't feel it. How is it that we can be so in love for such a long period of time, but sometimes that love disappears? How does that happen? How about this? Anybody besides me ever experienced or believe in love at first sight? Yeah, half of us? Okay. It's happened to me a lot. Usually goes something like this. A man is riding on a train. He's heading south, it starts to rain. He sings a soft and sad refrain. Thinks he'll never love again. On the other track, a train is heading north through the rain. A woman looks out her window pane. Her life has been a lonely game. The two trains pass, they're moving fast. Faces flicker past for half a beat. Their two eyes meet, and instantly they both can see that they were meant to be. Yes, it happened just like that. It hit them like a thunderclap. Somehow they had seen the answer to their dreams passing on the other track. So at the next stop he gets off. A love like that must not be lost. He takes the next train heading north. He does not know she's done the same. So they pass again. For half a beat, their two eyes meet. But something's changed, it's not the same. Now they can see they were not meant to be. Well, she knew someday it would have to end. She wonders if they'll still be friends. All the plans he made all begin to fade as she disappears around the bend. He will never be the same. Deep in his heart she will remain. He looks out through the falling rain, thinks he'll never love again. I think he's gonna love again. And again and again and again and again. There it is. Thank you. Maybe you've had a relationship like that. Brief. Linda Berry, the great cartoonist, Linda Berry said that romantic love is like an exploding cigar we willingly smoke. But it doesn't have to be, and we'll have a lot of fun with that this afternoon in our concert. John Bradshaw, remember John Bradshaw? John Bradshaw said that falling in love is in actuality, a high-octane hormone cocktail. And he's right. Science can measure this now. The hormonal changes when we fall in love are so great that they're measurable, and science can tell exactly what's happening. And what they've discovered is that these hormonal changes that happen when we're falling in love typically last from 6 to 18 months, and then they revert back to base level, whatever that was. So for the relationship to last past the hormone cocktail, it has to be based on something other than the hormone cocktail. Does that make sense? So something deeper, something more profound, maybe even something sacred. So I feel like we should at least do what the Greeks did. We should at least have two words for love. You know, they had eros for romantic love. They had agape for divine love or brotherly love. So that way, if we wanted to tell somebody we loved them, but we didn't want there to be any misunderstanding or expectation that wasn't going to be fulfilled, we could say, I agape you, no trouble, right? I think we should do that. Love is a word I use with music. I love music. I can't imagine life without music. I love this guitar. And you know what? Before I loved this guitar, I loved a different guitar. Yep, I had this big, beautiful blonde finish because it was made out of maple. And it's called a dreadnought. That's the size. It's a big size. Anyway, it was a wonderful guitar. It was a big, beautiful guitar. I'd had it for years and years and been through all kinds of experiences with this guitar and was very attached to it. We get attached to our instruments, as you know if you've played one. And as much as I love this guitar, after about 10 years, I started thinking I wanted a different guitar. I wanted a guitar that had a few different features. And the more I thought about it as the weeks and months went by, the more I wanted a new guitar. But I wasn't doing anything at all about it for a couple reasons. One is I don't like shopping for guitars. It's hard for me to find one I like because I'm real picky. But secondly, most guitar stores are staffed by what we could call young rock musicians. And just tell me if in your mind these two things go together. Young rock musicians, great customer service. Not always. So I'm putting it off. I'm wanting this guitar really bad. I'm putting it off until fate intervenes in the Honolulu airport in the form of this woman I will affectionately call Attila the gate agent. So I'm walking up to the gate counter in Honolulu with my guitar on my back. It's in a soft case that we call a gig bag. And it's great because it's lightweight. It fits overhead in the plane or in the closet. And this is how I've traveled with my guitar all the time up to that point on her airline. Anyway, I'm walking up to the gate counter. She sees me, I'm 15 feet away, and she points at me and she says in a loud voice, "That is not going on the plane with you." Out of the blue. And then she kind of turns away, and I thought, well, that's weird. That's never happened. And then I thought, you know what? She just doesn't realize I'm a professional musician. She just needs to know that. So I go up to her, I give her a big smile. I said, hey, you know what? I'm a professional musician. I fly your airline all the time, and I've got this guitar, and it's expensive. And she interrupts me. She says, no, you didn't hear me. That is not going on the plane with you. Walks away. So I thought, okay, it's going to be harder than I thought. I think, well, maybe she's worried about the load. She's got to be worried about the load. So I go back up, I give her a big smile. I said, hey, you know what? I bet you're worried about the load. How about this? We let everybody get on the plane, and I'll be last. I'll get on last, and we'll just see if there's room somewhere. Because I knew there'd be room. It was one of those really big, giant planes. And she says, I've already told you twice that is not going on the plane with you. Now, stop bothering me about this and decide what you're going to do. And she walks away. And, well, now I'm really worried. The plane is starting to board. I can't check the guitar. It's going to get hurt if I check it. So I just resort to begging. I just go up and I start begging. I just said, please, would you just please consider, could we just try? Could we talk to a flight attendant? Could we just see if there's room? I mean, why not give it a shot? And she's just a stone wall. She says, no, you have two choices. You can leave it here or you can check it. It's not going with you. I said, okay, here it is. I'm going to give it to you. Could you please ask the baggage people to take care of it, put it somewhere safe if possible? She just walks away. So I get on the plane. Turns out I'm in the front row of coach. They call that the bulkhead seat for some reason. Anyway, I'm sitting right there. Across from me is a little jump seat where the flight attendant sits for taxi. And it's a long time. The taxiing is taking a while, so we end up talking. And I tell her the whole story about Attila And to her credit, she listens to the whole thing, doesn't interrupt, and when I'm finished, she's appalled. She can't believe it. She says, I'm just really sorry. I have to apologize for our whole airline because this should never happen. We try to accommodate musical instruments. We know they're important. We have plenty of room on this plane. The closets are empty. And I don't know why this happened. It shouldn't have happened. We're not like this. And I'm just going to ask you not to hold it against us. And then she got up to go to work. And I thought that was the end of it. But she evidently told all the other flight attendants, because when it was my turn to get off the plane, they were all lined up there, 7 of them. They're all lined up by the door. And I'm walking past them, and they said, hey, wait, here's your guitar. They brought it up for you. I thought, wow, that was really nice. And I'm about to pick it up, and I thought, well, let's just look at it. We unzipped the case, opened it up, shattered. Yeah, it's just in splinters. It's just a wreck. It's no way it's ever going to be fixed or played. It's like, the baggage guys thought they were Pete Townsend at the end of a Who concert, and they were just, if you've ever seen that, you know what I mean. Anyway, I felt bad. The flight attendants felt bad. They marched me down to baggage service, and they said, look, here's the deal. This guy got a bad deal, and we'll vouch for it. Here's our names, employee numbers, phone numbers. Call us if you need to. Please take care of this guy, because this was wrong. And I was grateful to them. And they left because it was midnight, and they had to get up in the morning. So I'm in the bowels of the San Francisco airport at midnight with nobody anywhere around except this girl across the counter who looks about 12. She looks up at me with a really sweet face, and she says, I can't help you. I'm only 18. I work here. I don't have any authority. And I'm sorry, I just can't do anything for you. But if you want to come back in the morning, the manager will come in at 9 o'clock, and you can talk to her. And I said, okay. And she said, but listen, I have to tell you, we have a company policy that's really, really strict. We never, ever compensate for musical instruments. We just don't do it. And you should know that before you come back. And I said, okay. So I went to where I was spending the night. And you know how hard it is to sleep sometimes when you're really upset? And my feelings for Attila were not something I could share with you outside of group therapy. I couldn't sleep. I was so mad. I got up in the morning exhausted, just completely worn out from that anger. And I was driving out to the airport, and I felt horrible. I just felt awful. And so I started praying. And I said, God, you know what? I don't want to be attached to what happens here. I'm going to let it go. But if you could just please help me be calm. That's all I want, is to just be calm. And I just kept praying, and it worked. By the time I got to the airport, I was calm, and I was okay with anything that happened. I went in, the manager was there, we sat down, I told her the whole thing. She kind of shook her head and said, wait a minute, and disappeared. And finally, eventually comes back with another higher manager, this other lady. And they sit down and they said, look, we have a company policy here. We don't compensate for musical instruments. I said, I know, I heard that. And they said, well, we've talked it over, and we think we need to buy you a new guitar. I said, really? And they said, yeah, just find one you like. We'll pay for it. So I got out of there before they could say anything else. And I asked my musician friends in San Francisco, where do I go to get a guitar? And they said, there's only one place. The best place is Haight-Ashbury Music Store. Great. So off I go to Haight-Ashbury. Now, I don't know if you've been there lately, but I'm from Kansas. And Haight-Ashbury is like this little corner of the Twilight Zone. You see the past, the present, the future, and it's all there. It's a smorgasbord for the senses. It's all there on the sidewalk. You walk around and you just can't believe. Every kind of personal preference you can imagine is right there on the sidewalk. It's fascinating. I mean, it's great. I'm walking around looking for this store, getting a little high in the process. And I finally find it, and it turns out to be the best guitar store I've been in, ever. And they have great guitars, lots of them. And they have wonderful salespeople who just bring me guitars for 2 days and let me play them. And if I have questions, they'll answer them, but they're not pushy or hovering. And after a day and a half, they bring me this. As soon as I pick it up, I can tell it's different. It feels great, fits my hands, sounds good. I played it the rest of the day. Then they let me take it out of the store and do a concert with it that night. And that's when I knew this was my new guitar. Well, this guitar is so much better than my old guitar. I've never missed the old one for 10 seconds. I've never thought about it. This is a way better guitar. It's easy to play. It's fun to play. It sounds better. Electronics. It's made better. It's $600 more expensive than my old guitar, totally paid for by the airline. And the thing is, I owe it all to Attila, the gate agent. You never know who's going to turn out to be an angel in your life. They might not look like it at first. And I know we've all had this happen, and whenever something like this happens, you look back and you think, wow, that's amazing. You know what, it just fills me with a sense of wonder because it makes me feel like we're all connected in ways maybe we can't ever understand. And that's another big mystery that I love thinking about. So this word wonder is the key word, I think, because what the best scientists and the best mystics have in common is a sense of wonder at the workings of the universe. They never cease to be amazed at how it works. And what the best of those have in common, the ones we remember as our teachers, is a sense of humor. A sense of wonder and a sense of humor. And these are the two qualities that I have to bring to any kind of big mystery. In fact, these are the two places I have to go every day just to stay sane, just to experience that generally, the amazing wonder of this generally underappreciated experience of existence. That's incredible. Einstein said that once you can accept the universe as something coming from nothing, expanding into something, wearing stripes with plaid is easy. He was a funny guy. He said a lot of funny things. Paramahansa, he said there are two kinds of things in life you should never worry about. Things you can do something about and things you can't do anything about. So a sense of humor and a sense of wonder, I feel, are really essential for me. I hope that makes sense to you. I hope that's something you can incorporate into your daily thinking. And I'll just finish up with this thought from German theologian Karl Rahner, who said something cool. He said, there are two kinds of people in the world. People who need certainty and people who seek understanding. And I would just suggest to you that it's better to be a seeker of understanding because when you're sure you're right, you're stuck with what you already know. Does that make sense? You get that? When you're sure you're right, learning stops. So, let's see, what else am I right about? Well, before I forget here. All right, well, that's all the mysteries we have time for. We'll definitely cover some more in the concert this afternoon. We'll have a lot of fun with some of those other ones I mentioned. But right now, I'd like to go into meditation and take some of these ideas and thoughts into meditation. And to do that, I'm just going to play a beautiful little piece here by Michael Stillwater and invite you to sing along if you know it or if you want to learn it real quick. It's very simple, this little verse, just 4 lines, and they're all almost the same. I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with the heart of God. Or I am one with God. That's right. Okay, then. Anyway, this is how it sings. And if you know this, please just help me teach it to the rest of us. I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. Okay, let's try it. I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. Okay, I'll just say this really, really quickly. It's easier with your mouth open. Okay, here we go. I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. Okay, let's do it louder. I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. Okay, just silently now. Might want to let your eyes close and your breathing relax. Maybe take a nice big deep breath and let it out slowly. Feel the weight of your body against the chair. Center yourself in time and space. Let everything go and just listen. Let all things be healthy. Let all things be peaceful. Forgive those who have hurt you and those who have offended you. But forgive yourself for what you have done and for that which you have failed to do. That which is done, there is no need to speak of. That which is past, there is no need to blame. Have self-control, self-knowledge, self-respect, and the courage to dare. Be tranquil. The light of intelligence will shine. And strive to make a spot where you stand beautiful. Then the beauty and harmony will follow you in all your ways and in all your days on this journey we call life. Now let's get ready to sing our parts again. I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. Again, I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one God. Let's take a big, big breath and come back to the room if you haven't. Thank you. Thank you so much for singing. I'm going to finish up with a song that I wrote that tries to incorporate a sense of wonder and a sense of humor in the song. And it's also a little bit of a science lesson. And it's called All These Atoms. You breathe out, I breathe in. We're sharing molecules again. Oxygen and nitrogen, but do you know where your atoms have been? Parts of me were once in you. Genghis Khan and Gandhi too. Jesus Christ and dinosaurs. Princess Di and Dinah Shore. All these atoms everywhere circle back so we can share. No escaping, yes, it's true. Parts of me are now in you. As hard as it might seem to be, parts of you were once a tree, once a fish in the primal soup. Something's dinner, something's poop. 15 billion years ago, the Big Bang was quite a show. All this time and now here we are, and parts of you were once a star. All these atoms we've collected only mean that we're connected, since we share what we're made of. Don't you think that calls for love? So take a deep breath, share some atoms. It's not like you have any choice. And we'll all be part of the Addams family. Okay, do me a favor. Before we leave, I'd like you to just have a little fun here. I'd like you to turn and look at somebody sitting close to you, maybe the person you came with, but it could be anybody. Just go ahead, turn, look at him. Go ahead, look at somebody, and just think to yourself, what a lovely bunch of atoms. You know, some of those look like they used to be mine. I hope you're enjoying them. Well, there were these two atoms walking down the street. The first atom saw the second one. He said, "Hey, what's the matter? You look a little down." And the second atom said, "Yeah, I lost an electron." And the other one said, "Are you sure?" And he said, "I'm positive." And you know what? I'm positive that God thinks it's a wonderful idea for us to approach every day with a sense of humor and a sense of wonder. I know because she told me. Thank you all so much for the gift of your attention. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.